Whether you're ordering wings for the game, whipping up a 7-layer dip, or ordering pizza, there's something about football that makes you want to eat. And this football season, Uber Eats has the best deals on game day food. No matter what you're craving, from 2-for-1 pizza to buy one, get one wings, Uber Eats will be dropping new deals each week, all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
The holiday season officially starts when you get that first card in the mail. Shutterfly makes it easy to add more meaning to the everyday with hundreds of holiday card designs that can be personalized in seconds with your favorite photos from this year. Select your greeting, customize the color, and even add little extras like personalized foil to make a holiday card that really shines. Enjoy 40% off with code SMILE40 at Shutterfly.com and send something meaningful this year. See site for more details.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network. You can follow us on our YouTube channel as well at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined occasionally by my football gurus, Paul and Ian. Let's get to it. Hey, Paul. Seems like I talked to you just a few minutes ago, our pregame pulse, and turns out the game kind of went the way we wanted. It took a little while, though. Man, that first half was dreadful, wasn't it?
Those slow starts. I didn't think first halves could get any worse, but to get blanked in the first half, that was pretty excruciating.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about my son who was at the game, thinking, "Oh man, I mean, I know it's going to be a great trip, regardless, but man, you just want to see some exciting football." Hey, before we press on, Ian couldn't join us. However, he did pre-record or record it before we joined a 2 or 3 minute bit on his thoughts on the game. Let's go to that right now, and then me and you will come back and talk more about the Rams' 21-14 win over the Saints.
Rams Up Nation, welcome back to another post-game reaction. Here I am by myself at the moment doing a quick one as I had some family matters to attend to. I'm sure Mark and Paul will share their fantastic thoughts very shortly if they haven't already. In this game, man, oh man. I mean, talk about nail biter, talk about frustration on the offensive side of the football. Yet again, the Rams offense continues to just look like crap in that first quarter and beyond. And for them to get shut out, and it had been, I forgot how many years that the broadcast had showed. I mean, absolutely terrible. There's no excuse for a Matthew Stafford-led offense with Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, the Rams O-line as a whole, all them together. No way that should happen. But they turned it around and got it done. Now, is it still good football overall? Absolutely not. And there needs to be more diversity in the playbook for this thing to get turned around, for this team to win a playoff game or even win the West for any Rams fans who are hopeful of those outcomes being a possibility this season. Now, we did see more reverses. We did see better execution overall. And I do understand the point of people saying, hey, execute the plays, they should work. But we could say the same thing about a Pop Warner team executing basic youth football plays. If they execute it, it should work. But I think Coach McVay has not done a good job setting up this team for success with diverse play calling, more running back screens. Didn't see much of that. Didn't see any tight end screens. Didn't see any jet sweeps. Barely saw any interesting run plays other than a couple reverses, which is, wow, he finally called some reverses. So I say all that to say that we still have not seen the top of this Rams offense, the potential, the ceiling. We haven't seen it. We've seen the floor. We've seen some up and down moments. But for this team to win the West, they have to be better offensively. And thank God the defense showed up today and made some good plays. Now, yes, you can say no Rashid Shaheed, no Chris Olave. Tyrann Matthew got hurt late. Taysom Hill got hurt late. You can say they're missing starters on the O-line, and all that is true. But the Rams defense did enough. Jared versus strip sack at the end saved the day. Now, is there concerns with the DB room? Darius Williams getting burned a bunch, not good. Obviously, big plays still being given up in this quarters coverage scheme that the Rams like to use. It's still not good. But they did enough yet again for the Rams to win the game. And luckily, the offense showed up when they needed to and got some points on the board. But I will say this about special teams. It's obvious that Joshua Carty is no longer in favor of Sean McVay based on his situations to go for it instead of kicking points, which should be easy 3 points. And that's not good. Hopefully we see that confidence in him, McVay, to Joshua Carty, our kicker, boost over time, because he's going to be needed in some of these big games that are coming up against the NFC West that we hope to, claim the division. But I will say I do like Jordan Winnington returning kicks. I know he had that one that got held, had to come back, but he had that other explosive where he got to midfield pretty much and came back. So that's a positive. But overall, Rams did enough to get the win. Offense still needs tons of work, tons of coaching work, player work. Defense did enough, and I'm happy with that. But with that said, I'm out of here. I hope to hear your guys' reaction and comments. Like, subscribe, share this video, and I'm sure you'll hear shortly from Mark and Paul if you haven't already. Go Rams, baby.
Much appreciated. Ian, we'll catch you on the rebound at the round table on Wednesday night. Thanks for sharing your thoughts and enjoy your family time. All right, so Paul, this second half, though, of the game was it's kind of what we'd hope to see from this football team. The offense was on fire, and in the second half, they played really good football. They ran the ball like you guys have been begging for. A little bit of play action off of that. The big play to DeMarcus was off play action. And the defense, they weren't lights out by any stretch of the imagination, but it was certainly an improvement over the Eagles. What we saw against the Eagles, of course, the Saints and the Eagles are very different teams, but still, I was pretty happy. The dreadful offensive performance in the first half aside, I was pretty happy with how this team performed in the second half.
Well, they got their ground game on track a little bit. I mean, they finished Blake and Aaron Kyron finished up, I have 23 carries, 146. So that's a nice, healthy clip there. And that made a huge difference for the Rams. They got the offense rolling, got them some first downs, got New Orleans, their defense on the field. And they got to wear them down a little bit. So that made a huge difference. And the Rams are a very different team when they run the ball. There's no question about it. They're a very different team when they run the ball. You see everybody on the sideline. Even Coach McVay's fired up. This is going to be the challenge for the rest of the way. You got, so now it's a 0-0 season now. They're at 500. They got 5 games remaining to win this division outright. Arizona lost today, so that helps a little. Seattle won today. And, obviously we're waiting for the Buffalo game. But, one thing that really stood out for me, once again, they gave up 100 yards to Kamara, but that's a negative. We'll talk about that at the round table. But offensively, I think this game, every game, win or lose, reveals something of how to beat a certain team, right? So apart from the New Orleans, and, they're obviously, not part of this conversation, but for the Rams. So their wide receivers facing man coverage, teams are literally daring them to throw the ball deep. For whatever reason, the Rams are struggling right now because the offense is out of sync a little bit, is taking advantage of that. I think more teams are going to try to do that. So we have talked about the New Orleans and their very unique scheme that they run. They run a lot of cover 2-man. They run a lot of different looks, but they did emphasize the man coverage today. So that's something I'm curious when we go back and watch some of these plays, why they had struggled to get deep and get by the coverage. So that's going to be an important discussion when we have that at the round table. But I think more teams are going to do this. They're going to dare the Rams to throw it deep.
Yeah, and it was interesting, Cup stats, which I don't show here because he didn't have much. I think he had 2 catches for 17 yards, something like that. But DeMarcus had 2 big catches. Tutu had contributed as well. I should have him on here, and I don't. And Christian Roseboom, and I noticed it, and then the announcers noticed it. And we were talking just last week about the Rams missing a veteran heart of this defense, and I suggested maybe that guy that they're missing is Ernest Jones, but man, Christian Roseboom really brought it in this game, and that was really nice to see.
Yeah, the physicality, he was flying to the ball, the effort was there. It brings a different dynamic to this defense, which can get very flat at times. The coverage today was not great at times, but overall, and this is the bottom line. You have to compete for 60 minutes. You have to do whatever it takes to win, right? And that's what they did today. So that's a real positive. They did whatever it took to win this game. Was it flawless? No. Was it one of those pretty wins? Absolutely not. But we've been saying you got to learn how to win ugly first, and then you can get into that part of refinement when you start hitting on all cylinders. So, take the dub and work on the rest of the season.
And, not to be overlooked, the Rams have at least 3, off the top of my head, 3 really tough road wins: Seattle, New England, and New Orleans. And you beat anybody on the road. That's significant. They just need to play better at home.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting. Go to your happy place for a happy price with Priceline's Black Friday sale. Save now and travel later with our best deals of the year.
Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Shop Blinds.com Cyber Monday sales event now for some of the best deals of the season. A Blinds.com design expert can help you make the perfect selection on your schedule. We can handle everything from measure to your whole home installed for one low cost. With over 25 million windows covered, Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Save up to 50% site-wide, plus doorbusters and a free professional measure right now at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
This episode is brought to you by NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. There's plenty to be thankful for: your friends, family, and the fact that you can now get NFL Sunday Ticket for only $89. So thank yourself this holiday season and watch every game every Sunday when you bundle NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV. Sign up now at youtube.com/Sunday Ticket. Offer ends December 2nd. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
This year, Santa's bringing the power of Energizer into his workshop.
Whoa, the Energizer Bunny's got so much power.
Wait, he's powered up all the toys. I think that means we're done for the year.
I love this bunny.
He's the hardest working helper the North Pole has ever seen. And he wants all your gifts to have the power of the #1 longest lasting AA battery. So this holiday season, stock up on Santa's and the elves' favorite battery, Energizer Ultimate Lithium.
Hey, you know what else I really liked? I think people noticed this. Jordan Whittington is a very good kick returner on the one that got called back. I'm not sure how much that hold had to do with things, but it still, he looked really good. And then he had a key play. As a matter of fact, let me share some of the key plays here that we key moments in this game, and Whittington's return after the Saints had tied it up, that was big. That was a really big play. And
yeah, so if you take a look at what they have, Xavier Smith on the punt returns, now you have Jay Witt on the kick returns. So their special teams might be able to come up with a couple of big plays down the stretch, and that's going to be a big deal, especially when you're not scoring a ton of points.
yeah, and also another big play that we kind of got, didn't focus on because we just don't like to talk about penalties against our team that do not get called. That was pass interference on Quentin Lake, and we dodged a bullet there. That was gonna be a really big play, and that was a really weird sequence there. What ensued after that, but it ended up with a missed field goal. So the Saints missed out on 7 points, and then they missed out on 3 points. But the 3 points was their own fault. But yeah, a really interesting game. And I mean, if you look at these stats, considering that I took note of this Rams stats at halftime. I don't have it in front of me, but I think they had. I mean, it was not pretty, but their second half they just put up drive after drive, really 3 really nice drives, right? So their offense finally got cooking.
Yeah, they were moving the ball. The running game got hot early, and then sort of they went away from it. The Saints had a really well thought out game plan about, and Jonathan Vilma, who's one of my favorite announcers. Shout out to Vilma, who was born right here in New York City in Harlem before they moved out to Florida. He brought up something that was really good. That was a really valid point. Is that the Saints were trying to shorten the game. And if you look at it, this is one of the few games, I think, by my count, they had 54 plays. The Rams only ran 54 plays in total for the whole game. And if you take a look at that first quarter, I think they only had, one drive in that first quarter?
Yeah. I'm looking at it now. I misspoke. The 4 yards, they had 4 yards in the first quarter. And then in the second quarter, they did have one decent drive. Yeah, it was not pretty.
Yeah. So the Saints, and I think a lot of teams are going to do that. They're going to play keep away and really try to keep this offense on the sideline and make the Ram defense prove that they can get off the field on third down.
Yeah, let me look at it here. Make sure I get this right. Yeah, they had the 3-play drive in the first quarter. Saints had at the end the rest of the first quarter.
Yeah.
And then they had 2 more possessions in the second quarter. One they turned it over on downs, and another one they punted. So they had a total of 89 yards on those 2 second quarter drives. Still pretty dismal production. And there was one point in that game, I don't know if you caught that. I've never seen Sean McVay that demonstrative, that outwardly angry at his offense on the sideline that one moment. And it was when the Rams were trying to go no huddle, I think. And I don't know what happened, what he was upset about, but don't see that from him very often, that showing that kind of anger towards his players. But it was probably well-deserved.
I will say this. I like an angry McVay calling plays. So if you think back, even though it wasn't a great game, the last game when they scored early, he was cursing up a storm. He was like, heck yeah. I mean, he was using different words. And even when they closed out this game, you saw him. He was pumped up. He ran right down to Iron Kyron and was like shouting words of encouragement to him. I like when McVay's angry on the sideline. I really do. I think sometimes it helps him focus on the physicality of his team, right? And how he needs to sort of extend that onto the field. So that was fun to watch. That was really fun to watch. But one thing we did talk about it before, like now that Jay Witt's back, this wide receiver room's only going to get better. He could also bring a dimension of vertical speed. I think the Rams, I counted it only 3 times in this game. I texted you that one time when they did it on first down, when they did go 4 wide and spread the field a little bit. That's not a staple of their offense. They might just sprinkle it in just enough to keep defenses honest. But I think what you saw today is something down the stretch many teams are going to do, and that's dare the Rams to go deep.
Yeah, and I think we'll get Tutu and DeMarcus involved in that. That'll be a big help. And Colby Parkinson had a catch. At least our tight ends got involved a little bit. And Colby had a nice block on Puku's TD, the little swing pass over there.
Yeah, I
so we
love
contributed.
those wide receiver screens to Puka Yakua. You see his his work after the catch is just wow. Is just a thing of beauty to watch.
Yeah, and the defense on the defensive side of the ball, this is a really difficult quarterback to sack. You would think that's the case, but it is. As I mentioned in my pregame a couple days ago, he gets sacked less than once a game on average, and we're bringing some pressure, a little bit of pressure, but I think the guys were rallying to the ball. There is a few plays where Kamara and others slipped tackles, but for the most part, I think they tackled better and made the play at the end. Man, Jared Verse comes through. And I had a feeling this was going to come down to the very end. It seems like the Rams and Saints always have these games like this that, they're not typically not blowouts. They're really, shall I say, interesting games, right?
Yeah, all the Rams games seem to come down to, well, except for one or two of them where they came out on the short end of it, but seem to have this one score sort of format, right? Come down to the end. Once again, they didn't, like you said, Derek Carr, he's got the lowest sack rate in the NFL. So, and for today, the Rams defense came up with 0 sacks, 0 takeaways. I mean, we've been talking about it all year. Omar Spates drops an INT that's literally gift wrapped. I mean, those are the ones, you can't keep doing that week to week to week. You have to cash those in. And I will say this, though. Did we all see Bone Crusher Braden running with the ball, looking like Jerome Bettis, putting that foot in the ground and finishing into the end zone?
Yeah, I was enjoying that, but at the same time, I kind of knew I had a pretty strong feeling it wasn't going to hold up, but that was fun. So
we might have a new running back 3. We might have a new RB3 on the team.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's an athlete, that's for sure. When he got inside the 10, he was not going to be denied, I could tell.
Yeah, that was
but
beautiful.
Overall, pretty good, pretty solid second half. Rams come away with a win. That's all you can really ask for. I know there's going to be some negative commentary on their first half performance, and so be it. But they keep their hopes alive, 6-6. Now they got a big challenge next week with the Bills. The Cardinals and Seahawks play next week. So could be, NFC West is going to be really interesting moving forward, because I think no matter what happens next week, the Rams won't be out of it, is what I would say. But I think we would like to see the Cardinals bounce back and win that one. And it's going to be a lot of fun. That's all we can know. We just want to be entertained, right? We want to be entertained, and we want to get to the dance, get to the playoffs.
That's it.
Hey, as a follow-up to our discussion this morning, I don't know exactly how I feel about this. I think it's a minimum, the least they could do. The NCAA, is the NCAA or Big Ten, I forget, is fining Michigan and Ohio State $100,000 apiece. I think maybe it should have been $101,000 fine for Michigan and $100,000 fine for Ohio State. And hey, you gotta love that. I mean, I never want to see a quarterback get hit. Trevor Lawrence getting hit today, and his boys rallied to his defense, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
So Al Shahir he's very lucky that his team came and rescued him, because Jacksonville was ready to rip his helmet off, and he was at the bottom of that pile, if you watch it very closely. And, look, he has we've said it before, it's not coincidental that this happened this weekend, following all that. I mean, this is a pattern that's emerging where, these things get out of control. I mean, these players, football is a game of controlled violence. And when certain players show you that they cannot control themselves, or they have impulse control issues, the NFL has to come down hard. I honestly, if the NFL does not suspend him for the rest of the season, or at minimum 3 games, I mean, they're going to lose a lot of credibility.
Yeah, it's that fraternity thing. We talked about it. There's nothing wrong with playing physical and tough, and
Right.
but these are guys whose careers are at stake here. He's going down. Touch him as you run by. That's all you got to do. And he took it to another level there. And I wonder how that is with his teammates. Wonder how his quarterback feels about that when he sees him do that. Can't be good. So
We'll trust that the Texans. Listen, D'Amico Ryans is a class act, no doubt about it, as a coach, and I'm sure he'll do the right thing. And it's not just limited to them. I mean, we here at Rams Up, we have it in our own scenario, right, with the Demarcus Robinson playing this week. And you and I were talking about it. We didn't get a chance to talk about it at the round table, but just in closing, I mean, the Rams have a not so proud history when it comes to like DUIs and situations like that. And I'll go on record and saying it. I'm like really, really surprised that DeMarcus got the start today.
Yeah. Yeah. You go back to the Leonard Little incident, all the way back to, and they took a lot of heat for how they handled that.
Robert and Quinn also had one too when he was with the Rams. So, and then, you've had a couple of other players as well that have had incidents, not necessarily DUIs, but have had incidents. So I was sort of surprised they went in that direction. But, hopefully, look, the Rams have to handle it to what they have inside information that we don't. But, we're going to trust that they did the right thing. But, this is why it's really, really important when these situations occur that these teams handle it in an appropriate manner, because, things just seem to spiral. Things can get ugly very, very quickly when when it's not addressed appropriately.
Yeah. Well, today's game turned out good for the Rams, and for the next 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on when you hear this, we'll be rooting for the Bills. And then as soon as that game's over, we'll start talking about the Bills. That's our Rams' next opponent. We'll have a round table hopefully Wednesday night to talk about that game. And I know it's late where you're at, Paul, so I think we can wrap this up, and we'll talk again Wednesday night.
All right, Ramley.
Okay, out here from Rams Up. Thanks for joining. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.